Hey, how's it going? Today we're going to go through this Cloudgoat scenario, the Beanstalk secrets scenario. And anyway, I just need to get it started. It's called Beanstalk _ secrets. Cloudgoat create Beanstalk secrets. Awesome. So it's going to take a little while for this to build. So I'm going to go ahead and pause, and I'll unpause when it's done. Actually, I think while it's going through, I'll read through and maybe we can explain why I'm going through this. So I'm doing Tyler Ramsby's Introduction to AWS course, going through the Beanstalk secrets scenario. So the idea, I suppose, is to take what we've learned during the scenario, and not during the scenario, but learned during the entire course so far, and apply that to this scenario, the Beanstalk secrets scenario. And that's because I think that he shows us because we've not actually gone into the Beanstalk like AWS service, and so it'll be a great kind of example or test of what you've been learning throughout the entire course, and thus kind of help you to solidify those skills in your mind. Anyway, what we can see is that when you go to create the scenario, it's going to set up one VPC, Elastic Beanstalk environment, a low privilege user, a secondary user, and a secrets manager secret, AWS secrets manager secret. Awesome. The scenario starts, AWS access key and a secret key for the low privilege user, and then we go from there. In the scenario, you're provided with a low privilege AWS credential that granted limited access to Elastic Beanstalk. Your task is to enumerate the Elastic Beanstalk environment and discover misconfigured environment variables containing secondary credentials. Using these secondary credentials, you can enumerate IAM permissions to eventually create an access key for an administrator user. With these admin privileges, you've retrieved the final flag stored in AWS Secrets Manager. And then I've never clicked on this flowchart, so I'm not really interested in it. Maybe I'll look at it after the fact. And then apparently there is a walkthrough, which is unfortunate. It doesn't necessarily matter because I have gone through this one time, full transparency, and I think that this time around what it's going to allow me to do is kind of really solidify these concepts, I hope. I think that the idea is, I've already gone through it one time, using what I knew and was able to figure out on my own by just fiddling around. I don't know, looking, Googling, so on and so forth, and then just kind of assuming based on what I get on how to proceed with privilege escalation and lateral movement throughout this environment. But as we can see, we're going to start off with a low privileged access key and secret key. So we first need to go ahead and set up the profile, and we can do that with AWS, configure profile, and then I'm going to call the profile low. It's going to ask for an access key, and it's going to ask for the secret key after that. And then it'll ask for a source region, and we're going to use US East 1, and then a format of JSON. So now we have this set up, and we can do the who am I of AWS, which should be AWS STS get caller. Okay, identity, profile low. Awesome. So that's actually not it. Or it is, but I just need to remove the dash. Anyway, awesome. So we can see now that we are the low priv user, our account ID and user ID. I'll be tearing this down later, so the access key and secret will not work. So good luck. Good luck. Anyway, I think that the first things that we need to do are try to figure out, I guess, as much as we can about the environment, what's happening, and what do we have access to. We know that the scenario is called Beanstalk, so we could jump, in that direction, but let's look at some IAM services. We will try to list out, let's list out roles. Profile low. We don't have permission. What if we list out groups? No permission. Roles. No permission. And let's see, policies. And then we can list out attached policies. Attached user policies, which we would need a user for. Role policies, role name. Group policies, group name, of course. WS, STS, get caller identity low. User name. Invalid operation. User is not authorized to perform list actions. Okay. Let's try some other stuff. So we're pretty limited here on access, but that doesn't mean too much, right? I guess let's just jump into Beanstalk, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, and let's just see what we can do. We can describe applications, describe the environment, events, can list tags for resources, available solutions. I'm going to jump straight to describe applications and then select the profile of low. And we can see the application that's returned. Elastic Beanstalk application for insecure secret scenario. Delete source S3 false. Delete source S3 false. Let's see what else we have. We have the application name. It might actually just be smarter to take all of this. And in doing so, I need to actually create an Obsidian notebook. So 1 second. Okay, with that set up, let's move it and scroll back up. Grab configuration. Awesome. So now we have the application name, the application ARN, and so on and so forth. So now let's see what else we can do, because we know that this application is here. And actually, we know that we can describe environments, or that was at least an option. And let's go ahead and see what that returns. Awesome. So now we can see Amazon Linux running Python 3.13. Here is the URL, a CNAME, the environment name, environment ID, application name, which we can take. And I'm kind of interested in what can we do with this application? Like, can we see, I don't know, can we actually see the application, how it's set up, and all of that? And the answer is yes. There is a module here. I need to find it. Settings. Describe configuration settings. We may also be, I didn't actually run options when I went through, so let's terminate environment. Let's just look at that real fast. I'm kind of curious what this option is. Awesome, so we don't have that, or it's not. Let's see what that says. An error occurred when calling describe operations starting August, 2017. You won't be able to view or manage. Awesome. So let's look at the settings in that case. And looks like we're going to need some information. Or we can provide the application name. We have that. We have the environment name. So we can do that. Application name is... There's the application name as well. Yep. There's the application name, and then we have the environment name, which is here. I wonder, I saw something else there. Environment name. Endpoint URL. I wonder if we need that. Let's run this and just see what happens. Awesome. So it does return some stuff. Scroll up and grab this out of there. And see what we have. A lot of resource names. AWS templates, and we have secrets and some environmental variables. Awesome, love this. So let's grab at least this out. This looks like a file. Hooklib hooks.tar.gz. Let's grab that out as well, and sample python.zip, and let's grab this in case we need them, and then we can kind of fix up the environmental variables here. That way everything's kind of more just easier to see. So we have the key, secret, and Python path. Awesome. So what can we do with this? We can pivot. Let's clear this out and set up another profile. I'm going to call it second. And we'll need these again. The access key. The secret key, US East 1, and JSON. And then we can AWS SCS, get caller identity, and we can call it second, or ask for the second profile, and we can see that we are the secondary user. So from now, we kind of want to start back over from the top, right? This is just how it goes. See if we can determine what we have. I'm going to try and shrink down this window a little bit. Expand this one. So let's do this. AWS IAM list users second. Let's see if we can get a list of user accounts. Looks like we can. So we have admin user, the low priv user, the secondary user, and then we have the Cloudgoat user. Let's set this up. Call that list users. And of course, we're interested in admin, maybe Cloudgoat, but definitely admin. Let's go through and list roles. AWS. I'm looking for custom roles, and right now I'm looking in the attack path. Assume role. SCS assume role. Come on, guy. Service Elastic Beanstalk.aws. Okay. How about groups? Let's list out guest policies. See the user that they're each in. Check that out. Administrator access, which I think is actually, I think this is like the built-in AWS administrator. Let's pull these out. Where'd they go? I want these policies. Call this list policies. And grab the command to list policies. And I do kind of want to format this a little bit better. Just by removing some of the indents. There we go. Let's see if we can see what these policies contain, maybe. List. User policies. User name. Oh, wow. I bet if we do this, it's just going to pump out the same policy that we have there. Where is our secondary user? It's not authorized to perform list user policies on resource because no identity-based policy allows IAM list user policies action. Okay. Okay. What else can we do? We can list attached policies. Which I think is exactly what we're seeing over there, isn't it? It is. So we have this information. now we should be able to get information about the policy. We need the policy ARN. I guess we can provide any of this. So, policy ARN is right here. And the profile, again, is second. We'll call this get second user policy. And I apparently didn't copy these. Awesome. We can see we have key, value, scenario, Beanstalk secrets. In our second policy, default user version 1. We should be able to pull back this version. We may see multiple versions here. Right now, only one. So let's give that a shot, pulling back the policy version. I am get policy version. And let's just see if it takes us. Okay, so we need the version ID. Of course, version ID, and it's V1. We can tell because it says it right here. Default version ID, V1 attachment count 1. We do this, and look there. We have the policy and some permissions. It looks like. Let's get policy version. And the contents of that version of the policy. Awesome. So looking at it, we can see that we can perform a bunch of these actions, basically all of the actions that we used that kind of allowed us to even get to this point based on the second user. We listed out the users. We listed the policies. We got the policies, and then we got this version of the policy. But we can also see that this policy allows us to use the create access key rule on every resource, any resource. And I believe it's time to switch over to Pacu. So I kind of sat here for quite a while, struggling at this point, trying to figure out like what can I even do with this create access key. And the truth is, let's call this Cloudgoat. The truth is that I kind of got lucky here. I just happened to see that there was a module, an IAM module called PrivScan. And oddly enough, that kind of led me there. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. Let's import keys for the second user and say, who am I? And we don't have a lot of information yet. We could run IAM enum permissions. Who am I? And we have some information about ourselves and what we can do. Secret key, access ID. We have our policy ARN, our policy name. A lot of this, we did manually, and it took quite a while. And our username. From here, though, let's take a look at IAM again, and we can see a couple things. So we could brute force permissions. But I knew that I had a user account, and of course what I was trying to do was escalate privileges. So I thought, well, I mean, there's a module here. I might as well just give it a shot and see what happens. Running this, we can see that it identifies that we have the create access key privilege, and it says, is there a specific user you want to target? They must not already have two sets of access keys created for their user. Enter their username now, or just hit enter to enumerate users and view a list of users. So I'm just going to hit enter. Data IAM users not found. Run module IAM enum users, roles, policies, groups. We can allow it to do that. So it's going to run another one of the modules, and then it's going to pull back the users from here. The idea here is that I believe what it's going to do is generate another set of access keys for whichever user we choose. And in this instance, of course, we have the administrator user. We already know the low level and the secondary. So we might as well grab the administrator users to escalate our privileges, since we can generate a second set of keys. Now, my understanding is that if they had a second set of keys, we would not be able to generate a set of keys for them already. I'm not quite sure about this, this rule in AWS. I don't know why you can only have two access keys. Something to look up in your spare time and mine. So I am going to git run. I am priv esc scan. We'll call this use Pacu to escalate privileges. I used the IAM create access key privilege, or I guess technically, well, whatever. We did do that. And then we did have to enumerate users, which happened here. Pacu. Users, roles, groups, policies. And actually just snag this. Yikes. Check for privilege escalation. Where are we located? Output. My guy. Output. There we go. I am create access key privilege, and then I need to save this key because the terminal's kind of goofy. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and set up this this administrator profile admin. The access key is here. The secret key is here. US teast1 JSON AWS STS get caller identity admin, and we are the admin user, so these keys are working. So we created this backdoor user key, which will have to be cleaned up later. Anyway, so now we have access as the administrator. We can add simple back into Pacu, go back into Cloudgoat, or maybe we need to create a new session and call it admin. We'll import the admin keys. We may not need to do this, but I'm going to anyway. Enum, users, roles, policies, groups. I'm sure that we have access to everything. But I am interested. I think that we need, let's see. Generate an admin key and take over the account. Finally, use the admin privileges to retrieve the final flag from the AWS Secrets Manager. So let's go ahead and give that a shot. Let's see if there is a module. We'll list out everything. Or maybe can we search secrets? Okay, awesome. Let's do that. So let's run secrets enum. And then I'm going to say no here and select the region, or set the region to, I think it needs to be 2, region, US, East 1. It probably does not need to be 2. It did need to be 2. Okay, awesome. And so now we've found the secret. 2 secrets were found in AWS Secrets Manager. 0 parameters were found in AWS Secrets Manager. We can check this location to get the values. Oh. Yes, this makes sense. Our session is admin. And secrets, let's cat that out. It's a directory. Even better, secrets.txt. Awesome. Don't store secrets in Beanstalk. Oh, cool. So that is the end of this scenario. I don't know if you learned anything, but I think that it kind of helped me to solidify the entire attack path, right? So we're a low-level user. We're kind of just looking around for our privileges, our foothold, like what can we really do with this low-level user. We ended up getting a secondary user, and then it had slightly more privileges. We were able to identify a policy, and within that policy there were well, actually, I guess first we ended up finding the environmental variables, right? In the Beanstalk application. So in the Beanstalk application, we found the environmental variables that were set up for the secondary user, and then from the secondary user, we were able to identify the policies. And then looking at the first version of the policy, or the only version of the policy, we were able to identify that this user had, the secondary user had IAM create access keys, and then from there we were able to generate access keys for the administrator user whom did not have a second set of access keys present in that moment, which is what allowed us to generate another set of keys for that user account, is my understanding. Anyway, I hope that you learned something, and if not, I don't know, let me know in the comments. Tell me what I could have done better or done differently. I'm all ears from here. All right, bye.